always loved the Marx Brothers. But I think when we started, we were really about making people laugh. We weren't film guys. We weren't, there's a lot of stories about directors who saw Lawrence of Arabia or something and said, I want to be a director. But for us, it was just, we had a sense of humor. We started with a live theater. And it was really only after we got to LA and tried a little TV and live performing that we thought maybe film would be the best way to draw humor.
We didn't grow up wanting to be filmmakers. We just kind of grew up with this common sense of humor where sometimes films and TV and whatnot take things too seriously. They don't need to be taken seriously. It wouldn't be fun to point that out.
In comedy film, we like Woody Allen, but even more than that, we like serious movies because we can make fun of them.
Now, Jim, you seem to cringe a little when they talked about the Marx Brothers. So I'm imagining you must be a Stooges guy.
No, and that's become sort of a joke among us now. But I was never a fan of the Marx Brothers, mostly because the stuff that I saw, they were always big and broad and winking and smiling to the camera and whatnot, and that was never my first choice.
Jim was a snob. He preferred Jacques Tati, Frank Tucker's comedian.
Yeah.
Well, or at least I prefer to shoot baskets in the backyard.
Anything but the Marx Brothers.
And so, for instance, I'll go back to the parody of Enter the Dragon. And so there you have on Hans Island, you have these guys, and they're doing their punches and their kicks, and they're burning their forearms on the thing. And then you have a group of them taking layups, and then I would transpose that to, Naked Gun, where we're seeing highlights on the scoreboard in the baseball stadium, and you see baseball action, and then you see a guy slide into second base and get attacked by a lion. And so I wondered, that style that you had, how does that work? How do you know how far to push a joke when you've gone just enough, and you haven't gone too outrageous where you pull us out of the movie? How does that alchemy work between the three of you?
Well, ultimately, the audience is the ultimate arbiter. So we do our best writing jokes, filming them, and putting them up there. But then we screen the movie. And if the audience doesn't laugh, you can't get us to the cutting room quick enough.
I think we had an instinct about it. And so in 0 Hour, we had this great line that was said by, the air controller, looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking. And so we did that as the setup, and then we added drinking, amphetamines, and then finally sniffing glue. And if we had gone too far, the audience would not have laughed. But every installment of that worked. So our instinct was right on all of it.
And with the line attacking the second baseman, we're always just looking at how it's actually done. So we're looking at the fun footage that they show during the Dodgers game, of a guy sliding or whatever it is, and then we think, okay, how can we take that one step further and make it ridiculous or funny? And I think David's absolutely right. A lot of it is just an instinct, and sometimes we disagree, but usually, two people will make enough sense that the third guy will agree, and I think we've been doing it for so long that we just have a feel for where that line is.
Sometimes I lament that we did the Naked Gun way back then and can't update it today, because I'm pretty sure we do something about these guys wearing all this jewelry now. They can barely hold their heads up. And everybody, when he crosses home plate, looks up to God, to the heaven, or something. And I know we would have done a joke about it.
And for a while, it's only bulging muscle, the steroid. era. We could have done that. We were that. The trick for us is finding the right order. In Airplane, the last thing was sniffing glue. And, that was, we couldn't go beyond that. There was nothing funnier than that. And then in Naked Gun, I think it was the guy's head being chopped off trying to catch a ball. And I think that it was the order we couldn't do. That was it. That was the last thing.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned you lump in those jokes and then you test it. Tell us a little bit about, when you describe it in the book, what happened when Michael Eisner watched the film and Katzenberg watched the film, and I think Diller also, and then they had the great idea to show it to other executives at the studio. What did you learn from that test?
Not a lot. I mean, we fortunately, Eisner loved it, and Katz.
If you want to send some stuff to me so I can check out what you have sent, please send it to this exact address. However, you may only send some stuff that I am interested in. No Airplane, okay? Because if you send something like this, I will make sure that I will tell you that I do not like this film at all. Unless if you would send me that Zucker Abraham Zucker 3 film collection set that I'm gonna get for Top Secret, well, you can probably tell that I'm not gonna get it for Airplane, I'm not gonna get it for Naked Gun, I'm only getting it just for Top Secret. However, I do think that you should send the set as a whole because, let's face it, it's a big deal. So make sure you send stuff like this, or this, or this, or this. And yes, even Airplane 2 the sequel. Oh, and get this, a special collector's edition of Twister, complete with a steelbook that features not only the secondary poster artwork, but the image of the pipe scene on the back. Heck yeah, I'm getting this. Well, actually, we do have the double feature set, which consists of Twister and Twister, so we're pretty dang close. And also Airplane 2 the sequel, which had this cover. Just look at those nuts! I can't keep up with them all! And even the one in the original theatrical poster! Like, look at it! And just look at this poster for the worst film of all time! I mean, come on, do they really need to tie that plane up into another? I mean, that part never actually happened in the film! I mean, they clearly just used a toy model plane! Like, come on, really? And yes, this is what the plane actually looks like in the film. And here's another image of that same goddamn plane model, also from the film. God damn it, I hate this film. And its different titles, like this one known as Flying High, but I would refer to the film with this title. I just hated it so much. So make sure you send in to this address, and I hope to God I will look at them. And in the words of the good old immortal named Connor McLeod,
there can be only one.